your name and agency that you work for in the chat, go ahead. We had some issues yesterday with some people not having access to the chat. So if you can, great. If not, we'll make sure to get your name on our list so you get credit for attending. All right. Like I said, thank you for being here. We'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to do some quick introductions. We have a few new people here that I don't recognize. And so I will start, and then I'll just call you by name to introduce yourself. And if you would turn on your camera at least to introduce yourself so we can put a face with the name, that would be appreciated. I am Trista Lawrence, and I am the Coordination Administrator here at UTA in the Coordinated Mobility Department. Let's see, Henry, why don't we have you go next?
I'm Henry Novell. I'm with Turn Community Services. I'm the Fleet Manager.
Thank you. Dorleen.
Hi there, I'm Dorleen Talmung. I'm the Community Outreach Manager and I help with the travel training team.
Thank you. Alika.
Hi, Alika Lindsay. I am the 5310 Grant Administrator for Coordinated Mobility at Utah Transit Authority.
Cindy.
Hi, I'm Cindy Sidaway. I'm with Roads to Independence and I'm the fiscal officer.
Thank you. Fallon.
Oh, there it goes. Hi, I'm Fallon and I'm with Turn Community Services and their grant writer.
Thank you. Susie.
I'm Susie with Susie Senior Companionship Services.
Thank you. Melissa Hanson, we'll have you go next.
Good morning. I'm Melissa, the Executive Director for Continue Mission. We serve veterans.
Thank you. Christy.
Hi, I'm Christy Allen. I am the manager of the Coordinated Mobility Department.
Jerry.
Hi, I'm Jerry Osler. I am the Grants Compliance Officer with UTA.
Thank you. Andy.
I am Andy Curry. I'm the Executive Director at Roads to Independence.
Thank you. Krista Colmer.
Hi, folks. I'm Krista Colmer. I'm with Community Options, Inc. We support people with disabilities in the state of Utah.
Thank you. Wayne.
Wayne Benyon, Wasatch Front Regional Council.
Thank you. Doug.
Doug Hunt with Enable Utah, the Client Services Director.
Thank you for being here. Odessa.
Hope if I'm not on mute, right? Hi, I am Bay Odessa. I'm with the grandkids. We do non-medical transport and attendant care, and I am the compliance and risk officer over here.
Thank you. Barbara.
Hi, I'm Barb Jeffries. I'm with Rise Inc. and we provide supports with people with disabilities. I'm the director for the Ogden area.
Thank you. Nobu.
Oh, hi, I'm Nobu Izuka. I'm the director of Weaver Aging Services.
Thank you. Matt.
Yeah, hi folks, I'm Matt Elston. I'm with Park in Clearfield, and we support people with disabilities, primarily in employment and training.
Thank you. Marcel.
Hi, I'm Marcel, and I'm with Turn Community Services.
Thank you. Ashlyn.
I'm Ashlyn Visser, Community Options. We support people with disabilities across the state.
Thank you. Liz. Okay, we will come back to Liz. Nicole. Christine. Christine Smith, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, sorry, I thought you said
That's
Christy.
okay. No, that's okay.
I'm Christine Smith. I'm the Operations Support Manager for Utah Transit Authority Paratransit Services.
Thank you. Okay, is there anybody I missed?
You missed me, Trista.
Oh, okay, Phil, go ahead.
I'm Phil Shumway. I'm with Turn Community Services. I am the outgoing CFO, and Marcel Stewart is in the process of taking over as CFO for Turn Community Services.
Thank you. And thank you for that handoff, Phil. We appreciate it. We're going to be sad to see you go.
Oh, well, you know, been around too long, so it'll be good.
I was gonna say, Phil, I thought you retired. What are you doing here?
Well-deserved retirement.
Yeah, almost there. Just a few more meetings, and I think Marcel will be ready to take over. But Turn does a whole lot of things throughout the state. The most important part is our mobility part, and it is one of our biggest challenges. But we feel like we're figuring out how to fill some of the gaps.
Great, thank you. And Daniel Stevens, it looks like you've joined us. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
To begin with, not Danielle. My name is Jess Fredette. I'm the new program manager at Roads to Independence. I do not know why it logged me in as Danielle. But as I said, I am the new program manager here at Roads to Independence.
Well, welcome. It's nice to have you and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all as well.
I hope I've gotten everybody now. My screen names keep popping on and off, so I'm not sure I've got everybody. Let me do one quick glance. And if anybody, let's see, Liz, we didn't get you earlier. Are you able to hear us and introduce yourself?
Sorry, fighting with equipment this morning yet. I'm with Davis County, just checking in. It's the first meeting I've been to.
Great. Welcome. Thank you. And Nicole, are you able to introduce yourself? I think you are on mute if you can hear us, Nicole. Okay, maybe she's having some technical difficulties. And it looks like Steve Yaffe just joined us. So Steve, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, I'm a consultant for Park, and I'm based in Charlotte, and I'll be listening in.
Great. Thank you for being here. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. We appreciate everyone's attendance, and those of you who are new, welcome. We're looking forward to being able to work with you. I'm going to do a quick safety message. When we talk about safety and transportation, we often think about the basics: seatbelts fastened, vehicles maintained, defensive driving, accessible securement properly in place. And these things absolutely matter. They protect lives in very real and immediate ways. But also in our work, especially serving individuals with disabilities, veterans, and aging adults, safety goes far beyond what happens inside a vehicle. Safety is making sure someone isn't stranded after a medical appointment. Safety is confirming a veteran gets to critical mental health services. Safety is ensuring an aging adult doesn't have to choose between being able to get groceries and picking up a prescription. Safety is clear communication, reliable referrals, and partnerships that actually follow through. Every agency at this table contributes to safety in ways that aren't always visible. Case managers who check in, volunteer drivers who wait until someone is safely inside their home, dispatchers who make that extra phone call, providers who recognize when something feels off and they act on it. For many of the people we serve, safety isn't just physical, it's emotional, financial, and social. It's dignity, it's independence, it's knowing that someone is paying attention. So as we continue our coordinated mobility efforts, I invite all of us to ask ourselves, are our processes trauma-informed? Are we reducing barriers or unintentionally creating them? Are we communicating in ways that promote clarity and prevent confusion? Transportation may be the vehicle, but partnership is our safety net. I just want to thank each of you for the work that you do every single day. It often goes unrecognized and unnoticed, but we are grateful for all that you do to keep our communities not just moving, but to be help the people we serve feel protected, supported, and seen. Some updates real quick on the temporary trips and referral line. Things are going strong. People are becoming more and more aware of it as an option and as a service. We currently have 180 individuals that we have been tracking in the referral line app, and that's just since July 1st of 2025. Of those 180, 81 individuals have been approved for temporary trips. An additional 38 are in progress, which means we're working to obtain information or they're getting additional information for us. 19 more have been started, which means they've called the referral line, but maybe haven't been able to give enough information yet for us to give them referrals to some of your organizations in the community and move them forward in the system. Out of that 180, we've only had to deny one person as an ineligible person. As of February 5th, we've authorized 1,859 trips. 543 of those have been submitted and billed for, and that's only through the end of December for those numbers. And for those of you who do refer people and those that provide trips as well, we have started putting an expiration date on the trips. Typically 30 to 45 days. I have given some more than that based on circumstances or a situation that we know is going to take longer than that time frame for them to get a solution. But just so you are aware, when you're letting people know, do let them know that this is a temporary solution. It's meant to fill that short-term gap while they find that long-term solution, and that the trips will expire typically within that 30 to 45 day window. I am going to let Christy take over to talk about vehicle related stuff.
Okay. Thanks for being here, everybody. This is great. There's not a lot to update because we've been on track with our vehicles. So thumbs up. We only have 2 sedans left to deliver. We've started the new grant cycle. So we are way on target compared to how we've been in the past, which is due to COVID and any number of things. So we won't have any vehicles coming in for a bit until we make the awards and get some more orders going. So that's great. Hopefully things will continue to be delivered fairly quickly. At this time, most of the time, the only vehicles that we are getting manufactured are the transits, the ADA transits. We do have a contract that went through an RFP process for those. Otherwise, most of the other vehicles I can buy off of state contracts. So that's made things go a little bit quicker. So we can get those vehicles out in the community as quickly as possible. So that's been good. Let's see. Oh yes. And if you have a problem with your vehicle that you have gotten from us, please make sure you loop me in, especially if they're a newer vehicle and under warranty. I can help you work with the dealer. Most of the time we work with the dealer and then they help us get any fixes. I just don't want you, like, don't go take it to a shop or anything first without letting me know, just so that, again, if it is covered by a warranty, we're aware we can get that taken care of for you. And you don't have to pay for that, or, those kinds of things. The older ones, sometimes we can still help a little, but particularly, you know, vehicles that are only maybe 1 or 2 years old, please be sure to reach out to me and we'll see what we can do to help you get any fixes that might be going on. That being said, let's see. Okay, that is all for now because I will talk about some other stuff later in the meeting. So thank you.
Thank you, Christy. We may finish a bit early today, but we set aside a big chunk of today's meeting for the 5310 grant application process. So I'm going to let Alika take over and just present on that.
All right, thank you. Hopefully you can hear me okay. First, some updates on the application. I sent out a notice that the budget form still had the indirect cost section. So I removed that and put a new budget form. If you already filled out the other one, that's totally fine. But the budget form has been corrected on there, on the template. The staffing table, some of the boxes are not aligned. If you hover over the box, it will tell you what that box is and it doesn't line up with the heading. And so some people are having difficulties fitting their email in the box under email because it's the one next to it. So it doesn't matter, just fill it out however you can. You can also upload an Excel spreadsheet with your staff table if that's easier for you, or just put it in whatever box that it fits in. Also, the summary tab I realized was tied to the pre-application. So what I did was I opened all of the pre-applications for editing so that now you should be able to change your full amount that you're asking for that's in the summary tab so that it aligns with your budget tab. So after you fill out your budget tab with everything that you're asking for, make sure you go back to your summary tab and change that if it changed from your pre-application to your application. There's a box field for federal amount and for total project amount. If you have questions about that, let me know, or I can actually, I'll just show you really quick on my screen since we have time. So when you're in your application, it should look like this. And this is the summary tab, the main page that I'm on. Amount requested, this is the federal amount, and then your total project cost. So that should match your total here and here on your budget tab. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay. Just a reminder that the applications are due midnight of March 1st. That is this Sunday. Hopefully you don't have to work on the weekend to get that in, but if you do, it is open until Sunday at midnight. Pre-applications have been reviewed and should all be processed. So you should all have access to the application if your pre-application was approved. I will reach out to you if there are any missing items or errors on your application so that you have a chance to correct those before your application is scored. I do not work Friday the 27th, but I will try and answer emails when I can. So if you can't get a hold of me, I have a hard time answering my cell phone on Fridays, but I will keep an eye on my email through the weekend. You can always call Zoom Grants if it's a technical issue with the Zoom Grants that they can help you with, like the submitting button's not working or you're having issues saving. You can email questions@zoomgrants.com. They also have a phone number. And when you're in Zoom Grants, I'll just go back to that screen really quick. When you're in Zoom Grants, up here, it's kind of hard to see because of these mountains that I've added, but the help button is right here and you can click help and you can contact Zoom Grants from there. Okay. And this is just the same timeline that I showed you last time, but I just wanted to keep it on the slides in case you need to see it again. So just a reminder. Application
do you want
period.
to go back to that, your PowerPoint? It's still the Zoom grant screen.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Because it's showing it. Now, can you see it?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
that's great.
It must have gotten frozen or something. Okay, 1 sec. Let me go back a slide. Okay. The application period ends this Sunday at midnight. Then I will let you know if we need to open your application for any edits, and then we will start scoring and ranking and GMAT review. Oh, can I go back one? GMAT. If you want to volunteer for the GMAT, but you are applying just for one UZA, you can still be a volunteer for GMAT in the other UZAs. So reach out to me if that's something you want to do. We need as much help as we can get. What the GMAT, what your responsibilities would be is you would get some, not all, but some of the applications depending on what areas you're reviewing. And I would give you some kind of form that you can fill out with questions or concerns you have about the applications. Then you have to attend the LCC that you are volunteering on the GMAT for and stay after the meeting to have discussions with the GMAT for final awards. So it is a little bit time consuming, just depending on if you're doing all 3 UZAs or just one, but reach out to me if you are available to assist with that. And then I will let Jerry talk about Lunch and Learns now.
Okay, these are just 3. Can you hear me? Okay. These are just 3 of the ones that we had come up with for the year. If there's any other ones that people would like or want a refresher on, let us know. One of them was how to use QR codes for pre and post trip that we can set up for you through Microsoft Office. That streamlines directly into Excel and it eliminates a lot of the work for you. We're going to do one on vehicles, just the whole process from start to finish one more time so you know how it works when you apply for one, get approved for one, when we order one, the match, what you need to do when you pick it up, just the whole scope of it. And then a social media 101 for us to help you make sure that you are utilizing your social media in a way that the community is aware of the services that you provide and that you can get the attention that you deserve and are able to reach the people that you'd like to reach. Those are just 3 of our ideas. I highly recommend attending all of them. I think they'd all be helpful, but if there's something on there that you don't see but would like to, just let us know.
Thank you. And then just a reminder, the post-award training is usually held in September. So we'll try to do the Lunch and Learns around that and not have too many this year since it's an application year. But next year we can always do more Lunch and Learns. Just let us know if there's ever a topic that you think of that you would like to see. Okay, and Jerry, you can talk about site visits too.
Okay, so we are just about done with those 2025 site visits. We have a few left, but everything should be completed and sent out to each sub by early to mid-April. Then we're going to move right into 2026. So I'm going to start reaching out to you in April, May, and we're going to start with our site visits in October to early September to early October so they can be completely wrapped up before we enter 2027. So because of that, for some of you, you will be having 2 site visits within a pretty short amount of time. That's the only time that this will happen. It's just to make sure that we're able to do your site visits within the year that they represent, so that we're not spilling over like we are right now when we're doing 2025s and 2026. So bear with me for the agencies that are going to have to do 2 site visits pretty close together. Only time it'll happen, I just want to make sure that moving forward, we're able to get you information like the risk assessment as quickly as possible so you can utilize it to the best ability. But don't worry about reaching out to me. I will be reaching out to you to start scheduling those in a few months. Yeah, thank you. Also, for everybody that's had a site visit this last year, you guys have been great. It's been so nice to meet all of you and see your facilities and get to see the services you're providing to the community. So I really appreciate your compliance and effort with the site visits.
Thank you, Jerry. Oh yeah, so I already talked about GMAT. Okay. If you have any questions, let us know. Just a reminder, these recorded virtual LCCs will be available on the YouTube channel. Are there any questions right now that I can answer about the application? I don't see anything. Let me check the chat just to be sure. Oh, okay. All right. Let me know. Thanks, Trisha.
Thanks, Alika. Okay. For those of you who are applying, we are in the process of updating the Human Service Transportation Plan. If I have reached out to you and asked for updated information on your organization and you have not yet given that to me, if you can get that to me by next Friday, I don't want anybody to have to worry about it this week with the applications going on. So once you've submitted your application, if you can just send me that information so I can get it in the new plan. You'll reference the plans that are on the Coordinated Mobility website on UTA's webpage currently for your application, as far as the projects and gaps and things that your project or your application addresses. But again, if you can get that to me, if you have not yet, by the end of next week, we would like to get the new plans wrapped up as soon as possible. I am going to let Christy jump back in and talk a little bit about temporary trips as a whole and SB 195.
Okay. So just to bring everyone up to speed, and probably most of you know this stuff, but I will just make sure that we are all on the same page. So as many of you are well aware, the legislature is in session. They had eyed possibly cutting Medicaid and DSPD transportation funds. However, I have been told that the Medicaid transportation funds and the DSPD reimbursement funds have been restored. So though that should be happening, we are happy about that, because then that helps us help you. We can make the 5310 money go a little farther. We've been, as a department, sort of looking at that to see, well, if those funds are taken away, what can we do, or how can we use the 5310 funds to help everybody? So all that being said, those funds were restored. So aren't in great shape, but at least the funds that were used to being available for your organizations they're there. That being said, okay, let's see. Now, be aware, I want you guys to be aware of this. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes from yesterday so I don't forget things. We've been doing temporary trips. That seems to be working pretty well. Ideally, it's a pilot. We have a little bit of that latitude. Temporary trips are meant to be a temporary solution. So when people call in, it's not a permanent solution, but we can, Trista looks at things as a case by case basis. So say maybe somebody needs a bunch of dialysis trips, then we might go ahead and fund the dialysis trips, but we aren't going to fund like all transportation for that person for anything, for everything. They need to get, qualified through maybe paratransit or an aging department or some other thing, but we will help them with temporary issues. And again, we will help people as they're waiting to get approved for transportation, particularly for medical trips. Medical trips is our biggest focus. I'm hopeful maybe moving forward in the next year or so, and I'll go into the SB 195 here in a second, but study. But that being said, I'm hopeful maybe the medical industry will be brought to the table a little bit more. As you are all aware, I'm sure it costs the medical industry a lot of money when people miss their trips to the doctors for whatever reason. Of course, it's not good for our clients and customers to miss their medical appointments, but yet it feels like there's a perception, at least on my part, that medical could be a little bit more engaged and helpful with transportation for seniors and persons with disabilities. So we'll see how we can do that moving forward, I think. So that being said, we did talk about, which I'll have Trista describe here a little bit, which is we are looking at, we don't know that we'll get the funding. So I want to make that super clear. We have never this hasn't really been asked for before, but we discovered that there are quite a few trips made for grocery. And if we could supply a person, say, for instance, with like a Walmart, membership where they could get delivery of groceries and other goods free to their home, and are able to use that kind of platform or have somebody help them, could we give them the membership as opposed to giving them grocery rides? Because then those grocery rides would free up more trips that we can use for medical. Because at this point, we are helping, of course, people get to groceries and some things because people need food. And we don't want our poor seniors and persons with disability starving. That's something that keeps me awake at night. I worry about these things. And so Trista she looked into this a little, and she can give you some statistics here about that.
Yes. So it actually is quite eye-opening. In all of the data that I collected, we had one individual specifically in Utah County who was given 134 trips to the grocery store last year at an average of $55 a trip, which is about what each trip is costing us. If we were able to put that person on home delivery service, it would save $7,200 a year, or free up $7,200 a year to go towards other appointments such as medical appointments. So that's pretty significant when that's just one person. And if you figure they go to the grocery store once a week, that's 104 trips a year on average per person. So it's still a very significant savings, even if they're not going quite as often as that particular individual. So, I think that was still about $5,000 in trips that we were saving. So it is a significant savings and frees up money for other things. And we are approaching it. I don't have the term off the top of my head, but we are approaching it from the aspect of this project would help us be able to monitor the transportation needs. It's a bit of a study related to transportation. So we're hoping that it will be something that gets funded. If not, we are going to try and look at alternate sources of funding to still try and implement it somehow. And we would most likely have it work similar to the referral line. When they call in, if their need is 4 trips to the grocery store, they would get kicked over to me directly to process, and then we would have additional questions. We'd ask them to see if we can qualify them for one of those subscription cards for the year. So that's kind of the plan and how we are hoping that it will play out. And if it's successful, then we will look at trying to increase that as a project significantly down the road. Back to you, Christy.
Okay, well, thank you. So also with the temporary trips, we're still spending some funding, but we are going to help get some funding so that we can continue on with this program. I feel like it is helping your organizations. It's helping people who are trying to connect to more permanent services. And we'd like to delve into, if we can, and expand the pilot a little bit of maybe in the coming year, we'll see if we can maybe help some of your clients, say in the evenings or on the weekends, sort of after hours when they don't have availability or access to, reliable transportation, particularly those that are outside the 3/4 mile. They struggle the most, right? Because it's just not easy for them to get to low-cost transportation when they're outside the 3/4 mile for paratransit. That also means they're outside the 3/4 mile to like get to a stop or something. So we would like to be able to do that and continue to sort of grow the temporary trips a bit to help your organizations out. If anybody would like to give a little feedback, there has been, right, a lot of cuts and issues for transportation for seniors and persons with disabilities. Could, for instance, who do we have on for Davis? Is John here, or was that a Liz?
That was Liz.
Could you tell us, just give us a brief oversight of like what's going on with Davis about at least your funding at the moment for transportation, if it's been cut, if it's, getting harder to get, that kind of thing? Maybe she's not here.
Yes,
There she
the
is.
funding has been cut. It's just overall the entire department has been cut down. We're a little unique. Our senior services is part of our health department, which actually has been protective of us. Public health has had a little bit more funding than the aging side has. So we're just trying our best to find as many different ways that we can so we don't have to move off of doing medical transportation to appointments and things like that, because the need is so great in our area.
Great, thank you for that update. Susie, are you on here still somewhere? I hope. Maybe.
Yes, I am. Yep.
Can you give us some insight about the increase in need or what you've been seeing up in the Weber Davis area lately?
Yes, I can. Yes, there is a need. And what I'm finding is, because like I have individuals and I love what Trista talked about in her safety, is I'm coming across individuals that are, now these are people that are paying that aren't on the program yet, that we're trying to get on the program. I had a lady that she needed groceries, but she also needed these eye drops. Well, the eye drops are like $18. And so she foregoed the eye drops that she needed for her eyes because she needed food. And so that is where we're seeing a lot of those situations. And because, the UTA buses don't run real well up in at least Davis County. I don't know how well they are even up in Weber. It's just getting these individuals, even those that could qualify for the paratransit, it's even getting them to the bus stops is where it gets tricky. And so I'm really grateful for this program because it is allowing individuals to be able to get a little reprieve by helping them pay for this so that they can use those monies to get, the prescriptions and the medical help they need.
Thanks, Susie. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a struggle, right? Because even if they are para eligible, well, it's $4 a one-way trip. So that means it's $8 round trip. Well, $8 is half the cost of those eye drops, right? Like that can be a lot of money for people when they're on very, very limited income. So it's, unfortunately, it feels like it's hard out there right now. I think we all sort of feel that. So we are doing our best here to really, again, try to stretch this funding, try to help all of your clients get to what they need to, get the services they need, get the food they need, get the medical they need, and all those kinds of things. So please keep us aware when you see issues, and we'll see what we can do to try to address those problems, especially with the temporary trips pilot, because it's good to get the data and the information so that, we can maybe come up with a long-term permanent solution for these gaps and issues that we have. Since Matt, I hope you're on there. Matt, what struggles are your clients having right now? Just
Can
out
I
of
say one more
curiosity?
thing real quick,
Yeah,
Christy?
sure.
Or
sure.
Christy, one thing is I know Trista talked about, we can get, food delivered to them at, at a cheaper rate than you guys paying for it. But the one thing I have found with some of my the people that we serve and some of the clients that I serve personally, is this may be their only activity for the week.
I know.
And like I've got a lady, and this is the same lady with the eye drops, that needs she needs a hip replacement. But the problem is she's not healthy enough to be able to go in and get it and survive it.
Sure.
And so she needs the help through the door service and not just curbside service.
Right.
And so that's where it gets tricky. Is I'm all for getting people the year membership to have groceries delivered, but to some of these people, that is their lifeline out to the real world. So just some food for thought. Okay, I'm
No,
done.
I know.
No.
Believe me, I know. We know
Yes, and-
but it's when the money is short, it's just decision. You know what I mean? Like we're just trying to prioritize the
Right.
best we can. Because believe me, we get that. We understand 100%. I mean, when we did vouchers right up there, I mean, we take people to hair appointments, we took people to work, we take, funerals, whatever they were trying to get to. So if we had enough funding and if we had the latitude to do that, you know what I mean, then we could do more. If medical stepped up, we could use the money to do more incidental trips as opposed to medical trips. So I hear you. Believe me, I hear you.
Maybe
So-
Susie, one of the questions I ask when they call in is this your only social outlet? And if it is, then maybe we don't give them the food subscription and we save it for somebody else who could benefit from it as
Yeah,
well.
or maybe we limit to one trip every 2 weeks if they can use the
if they
delivery.
can use it.
You know what I mean? Like, so at least they could go sometimes, but if they really needed some food, they could get it kind of
Right.
thing. I mean, we could look at some things like that
Right.
also. Because we do understand that, trust me. It's just hard times and hard situations and it stinks.
Right.
Are you there, Matt? I don't know. Hopefully he's on there. I see his name. There's Matt.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here.
Hey, can you fill us in on what's going on with the people that you help? Just out of curiosity.
Are you talking about temporary trips, Christy?
No, more like just funding issues you might be having, if it's getting harder to get your clients to work and things that you do there at Park.
Yeah, so, I think what we're different from what other people are saying, in just that. We have a lot of people that are looking for transportation that are quite a ways out geographically. So it makes it really a challenge for us to get them transportation at the reimbursement rate we're getting from TSPD. So we're seeing that. And then, just the inconsistency of the paratransit system for people trying to go to work. We see a lot of folks that, get dropped off before their business is even opened and they require supervision. So it can create a pretty unsafe situation for them. So really, those are probably two of the things that we continue to see. It's nothing new. We are looking at providing temporary trips. I've talked to Trista about it. We haven't full proposal to make that happen yet, but we'd like to be able to provide services to folks in the evenings and on weekends when the rest of our fleet isn't so occupied.
Sure. So that would be great. Those are important things to consider, and especially the getting to work, right? And having somebody unsupervised, that's very uncomfortable. That's not a good situation. So thanks for sharing that, and we look forward to possibly having you as a provider. That would be awesome. Up there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of funding sources for people to get to employment. VR doesn't cover transportation to and from employment sites. And so it's something that we're, covering as an agency. It's one of the biggest pieces of the transportation puzzle that we're providing, just to make sure that people can keep their jobs and, are safe in their transportation.
Sure. So that made me think of something that I'll talk to you offline about, but that made me think of something. That being said, Alika, question. Thanks, Matt.
I was just gonna talk about e-voucher. I haven't seen many applications coming through for e-voucher. And I just wanted to put it out there. You know, we have the vouchers too that you could offer to people, and you could apply for some 5310 funding to use the e-voucher system. We worked really hard on getting it, and I'm worried that it's not getting out to the community to be used for, you know, what we created it for. So if that's something that your agency could offer to people, please think about applying for e-voucher funding in the future if you didn't this time. I think, please let me know if you did apply for e-voucher. I think Rose to Independence did. Krista Colmer, we had a whole lunch and learn on e-vouchers. So shoot me an email and I can get you the link to that video. And then Dora also just wanted to remind everyone that travel training is available, and she put the link in the chat box if you have clients that need assistance with the regular UTA routes. Okay. Oh, Susie?
Yeah, I have a question. I think I'm meeting with Park in a few weeks. I don't know if that's with you, Matt, but I'm just wondering, could we use those e-vouchers to help the individuals at Park, that we could use those to help those individuals get to work? You know, that we could help with the transportation, and we could give those e-vouchers to their individuals that are needing help getting to employment. Can we use it for that?
Would the voucher go to like their friends and family for them driving, or
Well,
do you
like
mean if
they could give them to us and we could help drive them?
Yeah, but you might get a better rate if you did like an agreement, like a service agreement or a third party contract with Park.
Well, we're in the process of working on that, but we won't have it completed until the next go round. So that's
yeah.
why I was wondering if that was something we could use until the next grant cycle.
Yeah, I think so. Anyone can use the voucher. It would just depend on who is applying for the voucher. So like if Park,
can I apply for it now, or does Park need to apply for it to give it to me?
Christy, do you know? I think Park would have to apply. Well, does it matter? I don't think it matters, right?
I don't know if it matters as long as it's, I mean, somebody's covering.
Someone has to take over the, you know, doing the program part.
It has to connect to somebody's, you know, some agency's account. Keep that in mind. So it's whatever agency is willing to take that part of it on. Now, it's very secure. It's not real complicated, but that's what enables the payment to go through quickly and takes out that burden of the paper voucher. So that's probably the biggest thing, but it doesn't matter per se, as long as they're being given to seniors or persons, you know, with disabilities and they're up in that area, that's fine.
And vouchers are in operation, so it would be a 50% reimbursement.
Yeah, if you do vouchers.
Okay.
Alyssa, you have a question?
Yes, you mentioned I have a message on the chat thing that says due to org policy, admin chat for external, so I can't get it, and I don't know if anybody else here can see that link.
Okay, I will send out the link in an email to everyone here so that they can get that. You could also go to UTA's website, and if you Google travel training, it would take you to their page. And something we are working on with the temporary trips, the gentleman who's been helping me with my app, they are creating an app for travel trainers, and we are going to have a link so that if somebody calls me in and they are able to utilize travel training or are interested, it will automatically email Dora's team within our system so that they will get alerted to that individual and be able to reach out to them. So that's kind of exciting that we'll be able to follow up on those rather quickly. Okay, Christy, back to you.
Okay, so we'll get moving along. Thank you, everybody who helped with that feedback and that information. I just like we want to be aware of what's going on, especially as once the awards are made and that from this grant cycle, we'll be able to work together and figure some things out. As you know, we try to take some of the burden off of your organizations where we can and help your customers and clients. So we'll take a look at that after everybody's, like I said, once the awards are decided, we'll know more what we have to work with and what kind of projects we'll be taking on. So that being said, just to continue on, we have SB 195. If you all remember, I've been talking about this, but Senator Harper last year requested, and I want to pull up the invite. He requested, goodness gracious, come on. There we go. A study be done for the Wasatch Front on human service transportation to see if there was a way to consolidate our services. So that it's a study. The study is UDOT, UTA are the partners on this study for the urbanized area. And then UDOT has a contractor. So we meet regularly, UDOT, UTA, and the contractors on the study, and they've been moving forward. There is quite a few of you were at the first stakeholders meeting. There is another stakeholders meeting. It is going to be on March 16th. That's a Monday from 10 to 11:30. If you did not get invited and you would like to get invited, please either email me or mention that in the chat if you can, or you can email me or any of the staff, and I'll make sure that the invite gets forwarded to you so you can attend that meeting if you would like to give feedback. I'm just going to tell you what the meeting is going to be about. So again, this is from the Senate Bill 195 from 2025 session that we are collaborating to improve the coordination and delivery of human service transportation on this study. Your input is vital to shaping the future of these services for Utah. So that being said, the agenda items for the stakeholder meeting are project update and work completed to date. Then they will comment on some data collections and findings. They've got some new data, but we really encourage them to use a lot of the data that was already established in plans so that more funds could be spent on, what ideas and things could be proposed. But they also will give a gaps and needs summary. And then they want to have a service consolidation round table. So from our meetings, my impression of what that's like is basically proposing some ideas on, maybe consolidating just one piece. Could we consolidate all the services? Could we consolidate the software? All these different things, and getting your organization's feedback on what you think that might look like or feel like. So yes, I will get that to you, Steve. That being said, sorry, do I have, let's see. Do I have your email, Steve? If you could put it in the email, in the chat, that would be great.
I have it if not, Christy.
Oh, you have his email?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Then don't worry about it. I'll get the email and I will forward that to you today. Thank you. Okay, that being said, so that is what's going on with that meeting. And Ursta, that's coming up. I'll let Trista talk more about that, except to say I did mention I've been working on this insurance issue we've all had for the longest time, right? Well, there's a company called Insurica, and I've been meeting with them to find out what they can do. They help with insurance and have help with insurance with other states and agencies that are in our situation where the rates have been really high and they're trying to coordinate services, and they claim that they can do this and help us out and things would be cheaper for everyone. We would need an organization sort of as a point place. So we're looking at Ursta to sort of be the point or lead agency for this possible insurance, but then everybody in the rural and the urban could come into the policy if they wanted. So we are having the Ursta board will be having a presentation from Insurica at our board meeting and asking questions and finding more information. I've also been talking with Susie's agent And so he contacted me yesterday. And so anyway, we're trying to find some alternatives to make your insurance more affordable, but also according to Insurca, if everybody were under this insurance, you would be able to also share your vehicles. So that being said, you could transport other people's clients or loan your vehicles out, which is one of the pieces of coordination that we've really tried to work on over the years. And as you all know, that have been coming for a long time, it's just been insurance and liability has been a huge, huge barrier. So I just want you to know we're working on that with Ursta. And then I am done, so I'll turn the rest over to Trista.
Thanks, Christy. Real quick, Alika added a comment for those who can't see the chat box that she says, I just wanted to add and clarify you can get set up with e-voucher and connect it to your operating account or whatever funding. And then in 2028, apply for reimbursement for any activities from 2027 through 2028 with the federal fiscal year 27 funding and 28 funding. So you don't have to wait for the next cycle if you wanted to start using e-voucher. You could start as early as October 1st of this year of 2026, which is the beginning of the federal fiscal year 2027. So if it's something you think you may want to do, now is a good time to start looking at it, implementing and projecting for a future so that you could request for those funds in the next cycle, but already have it existing. Okay, were there any questions on SB 195 or anything more for Christy before we move on? Okay, thank you. Christy mentioned Ursta. I know several of you have attended the Ursta conference in the past. If you have not, I encourage you to send people from your organization or to attend yourselves. It's a great conference this year. It's going to be held in Price, September 22nd to 25th. Registration is now open, so you can go to the Ursta website and register for that. If you send drivers, the bus rodeo, I believe, is going to be held on Thursday. And then Friday night will be the big night out and award ceremony for the winners of the bus rodeo. We don't know yet what the big night out will be. The committee is working on that, but it's always fun and an enjoyable time. Because it is a conference, it is considered an operating expense if you do send some of your people. So you could submit those expenses for 50% reimbursement if you asked for operations funding in your grant request. Ursta also does offer scholarships. The eligibility on that is kind of up in the air. So you could apply and then you would find out if you were approved or not for Ursta to cover the expense of that. But you can at least apply or reach out to Stacy at Ursta and she could help direct you on that. And then just as a reminder, our next LCC meeting will be on Thursday, April 23rd at Park in person. It is going to run a little longer because it is the application awards meeting. So we'll go from 10 a.m. to noon so that we can give each person applying some time to answer any of the GMAT questions and present on their projects. And then those of you who are participating on the GMAT will need to plan to stay after that noon end time for the meeting so that we can then discuss the awards and make recommendations from there. If nobody has any additional questions, that is all that I have. So it looks like we're wrapping up a little early today. So I'll give you back a little bit of your time to work on your applications or whatever it is you might need to do. It doesn't look like there are any questions. I will send out that email with the information from Dorleen about the travel training, and we will see you all in April.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.